Okay, hi there, and welcome to a special video. The idea here is just to spend a few minutes thinking about the industry research that you might want to do to help you get those top grades in your A-level microeconomics exams. Crucially, some exam questions now require you to answer using examples drawn from an industry or industries of your choice. Now, if it says industry of your choice, you have to focus your answer on one particular industry. It's best not to spread yourself too widely. They're looking for depth instead of breadth. So I think the top students in this summer's exams will have become a mini expert. They'll have some contextual awareness on one or more interesting industries, sectors and markets, particularly examples where supply and demand conditions are changing, so you can show shifting revenue and cost curves, etc., where perhaps the government is intervening in the market, and where external factors such as globalization, trade wars, new technologies are also having an influence on the market outcomes. The word is that being an expert on one or two particular sectors will pay dividends in the exams. Well, here are 10 recommended industries. Not to say they're going to draw the data response and the essay questions from this, but these are industries of particular interest perhaps to economists. Food-to-go retailing, including the battle between Pret and Greggs and McDonald's and other food-to-go retailers, the supermarkets, the challenger banks, the likes of Monzo and Metro Bank, and the extent to which they're able to break into the market. The rise to prominence of the renewable energy companies, including First Utility and OVO. The retail grocery market is always a great example to investigate, in particular the surge of the deep discounters Aldi and Lidl. What about the fast-moving world of e-vehicles and the associated infrastructure behind it, the charging point suppliers? My own particular favourite is the very interesting sector, the craft beer manufacturing sector. Huge interest at the moment in vegan foods. To what extent could that be an exam question? The low-cost gym industry, the battle for market share by a number of key gym suppliers. The huge economic interest in businesses such as Disney and Netflix and Amazon Prime taking on each other and in a sense taking on the cinema sector. And things like traditional industries, sports, fashion, footwear and clothing. So there are many industries you could choose. My strong advice in the weeks and months ahead is to choose maybe 2 or 3 industries and become a mini expert. Where do you get your information from? Well, here are a few ideas for you. First of all, the investor relations section of a business's website could be a goldmine. Just type into Google, whatever, Starbucks investor relations or Pret investor relations, or whatever it is. And that should bring up some really good industry reports and the reports, which oftentimes give information about the markets in which a firm is operating, and also these strategies, the pricing and growth strategies that firms are adopting. Make good use of your FT for School subscription. Of course, if you have a school email address, you can access the Financial Times for free, and you can get deep into the search engine there and find out about the industry or the businesses you're particularly keen on. Business data services such as Statista might also be able to provide you with a range of free charts or basic information on the businesses. Take a look also at the industry profiles that the accountancy firms and the consultancy firms such as McKinsey, PWC, Deloitte, Accenture and others produce. Oftentimes they produce some very detailed, interesting, fascinating industry profiles, and you can glean a lot of information from that. The industry regulators such as Ofcom and telecoms, Ofwat in the water sector, etc. They often produce annual reports which look at the changing market. And the Competition and Markets Authority might be doing market investigations, particularly when it comes to allegations of anti-competitive behaviour or the economics of mergers and takeovers. Now what I'll do is I'll provide some links in the comments section of this video down below to each of those sources of information, and hopefully you'll find that useful. So an investor relations report, I went into the Pure Gym report, and there's a terrific report to download on their pricing strategies, their growth strategies, how they think they compete effectively in a fast-changing market. Investor Relations Annual Reports. Use your FT for Schools search engine. So I was looking at renewable energy. I found a good example here of a big merger, a big takeover in the renewable sector, where OVO, one of the initial challenger firms, looks like it's becoming a substantial firm now, with 18% of the market having bought SSE. Really interesting context. Those PWC Deloitte reports, here's one on the electric vehicle industry, and in particular the economics of charging. 130,000 electric vehicles currently on the road in the UK, 15,000 charging points. Who pays for these charging points? What's the pricing strategy? What's the growth model, etc.? Interesting stuff. Also trying to make use, if you can, of the data and research and examples available through social media. So just today, Sky News Business talking about Aldi growing again and hiring nearly 4,000 more workers, and Uber demerging its Indian food business to Zomato. A demerger, to add to your notes. You see here that through social media, keeping a keen eye and using search, you can very quickly build up some good examples to use if the exam question says using an industry of your choice. Now, just to help you, what kind of profile would you put together? It's the sort of thing that I think could really fit on two sides of A4. Perhaps this could be your first side, and you're just gathering information together on who are the leading firms in a market, what's their market share, can you put some data in on profits and loss, can you find a couple of examples of challenger businesses that have entered the market, perhaps comment on the strategies they're adopting to break into the market, comment on what type of market structure your industry is, and perhaps a couple of examples of recent merger activity. What are the key factors affecting demand on the revenue side? What are some of the key factors influencing supply and costs on the cost side? And also, can you think of examples of intervention in the industry or good examples of dynamic efficiency innovation? But the idea here is to choose an industry and then just map out some key basic information which you could then just pepper your answer with and get some great context marks. Again, you can download a copy of this PowerPoint template if you want to amend and definitely improve this slide and use for your own research. So there we go. Just a few thoughts on industry research to help you get those top grades in A-level microeconomics.